Welcome back, guys, to today's second video. We're going to be doing a 42-day forecast with the ecmwf, and we will go up to Christmas and the New Year. Also, thank you guys. We've currently just hit 7 subscribers, and you guys have been enjoying my Christmas forecast. I've seen there were 49 views on that currently. So if you enjoyed part 1 of my Christmas forecast, there's a part 2 out, and we'll be doing a part 3 tomorrow. And thank you guys for all watching my videos and subscribing. It helps a lot. So we're going to get into this. So, low pressure, if you guys didn't know, low pressure brings wet, windy and unsettled weather. High pressure brings calmer weather, drier, and all of that. Any of them can be warm or cold, mild or cold. It doesn't matter what the pressure is. So we have low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure over Scandinavia, and we're bringing in westerly winds. So that'll be a little bit cool because we're trying to bring in the easterlies, but quite mild, really, around average, a little bit cooler than we have been seeing. So it might feel quite a lot more chilly. So in Scotland, where that easterly wind's trying to push in, it's at round average. But for the rest of the UK and quite a lot of Europe, we are around quite a bit above average. Well, we are around average in parts and a bit colder in Scandinavia. But for the UK, we're above average at the moment. So we will look at the precipitation. We are wetter than average at the moment. In Scotland it might be a little bit more drier, but we're looking very windy, wet and unsettled. So it's looking quite an unsettled week, isn't it? Okay, so going up to the 5th of December, we start to build a big Scandinavian high over Scandinavia, so that'll carry on trying to bring the easterly wind in. But the low pressure stays there and sticks us in the westerlies, but that'll be a big battle between the westerly winds like this, what'll be a bit milder, and the easterly winds, what'll be very cold. So I think that'll be cooler, around average temperature and all of that. So we're about to see around average temperature. I think we'll be a little bit dry, but still quite dry. But actually, the model is saying we'll be drier than average most of Europe, aren't we? Scandinavia is extremely mild. The UK is quite milder than average. So we're looking a bit milder for week 2. Precipitation for week 2 is still looking wetter than average, so I still say there's a wet and unsettled week here. Maybe a little bit dry, but still wet and unsettled. So for week 3, I think I looked at these earlier and they were a bit interesting. So we have low pressure out near Greenland. Well, not Greenland, but out in the Atlantic near Greenland up here, around here. We have low pressure to our south, high pressure over Scandinavia and Greenland, and what that would do is bring us quite a cold easterly wind. So for week 3, that looks a lot more interesting. But will the temperature and things agree? Yes, it does. So we're bringing in like a northwesterly and an easterly. So it looks around average in the UK. Scotland maybe a little bit above most of the UK, around average, and I think it will be a little bit under average. So a bit more interesting. I think we'll be definitely drier than average here. Yeah. Not that much signal. We're probably actually around average. Maybe a little bit drier than average, but I'll say around average in the UK. By week 3, let's have a look at week 4 and how that's looking. It's been quite interesting, isn't it, this? And that is very interesting. That's even more interesting, isn't it, this? We have high pressure now going to Greenland, low pressure over Scandinavia, and probably low pressure down here. That'll bring us in a northerly wind. So that's interesting, isn't it? So will these charts agree? Will week 4 and the temperature agree? No. Temperature stays around average. maybe a little above in Scotland, and around average. That's about the same as the week before, isn't it? Not much happening there. Precipitation expected to go dry, so not much signal, maybe around average or a little bit above. So basically around average in the UK. So a little bit drier, so we won't be having as much rain. So the flooding will definitely back off. So now we're going to Christmas. We're on the 26th, and we've got high pressure actually centred over the UK. So it's centred more to the east. The east. Low pressure in the Atlantic, and I expect low pressure over Scandinavia here, and low pressure down here too. That would probably maybe we could be bringing in more of a milder wind from there. But also we could definitely try and bring in more of a colder northerly. So that's a bit of a odd one there. That's a bit of a maybe not. That could be warm, that could be cold, that could be mild, that could be cold. It won't be warm this time of year. Mild, but not cold air, is it? The cold air is... what's happened there? The cold air is out in the Atlantic. We are mild and average in Wales and Scotland, at the top of Scotland. But for most of the UK and England and the east, we're a bit milder. But for most of the country, we're just around average for the time of the year. Precipitation, we are looking a little, I think we'll be dry there. Could be quite dry here. Western Scandinavia, I said we would have low pressure down here as well. I was right, to Nova Scandinavia. So I think we'll be around average or a little bit above or around average. So we've gone from being very above average rainfall to below average or around average. So definitely looking a bit drier and more settled. But then we actually have low pressure now going towards Greenland. High pressure over Scandinavia once again. This would bring in a southerly or southeasterly at the start, but that could also bring in a cold easterly wind. So it just depends, doesn't it? It's very interesting. This has been a very interesting 42-day forecast. It really has. We are around average on the temperature. In the seas and Scandinavia is milder. We are around average, so we can't say much, can we? Around average. It's going to be interesting. That's all we can say, isn't it? The rainfall looks around average as well. Maybe a little bit wet in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Maybe a little bit drier on the east, but probably around average. So that is a very interesting run. It's definitely one of the interesting models that I've seen lately. So you'll have to keep an eye on this. It's looking very interesting. So thank you everyone for watching today's second video. Today we'll have today I don't think we'll have any more videos, but tomorrow we will probably have two or three, I'd say. We should have more than one. Yeah, we'll probably have 2 and 3. Tomorrow I think we'll do the 14-day forecast and Christmas forecast, and we'll see what else we can do. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.